Super Mario Maker 2 looks utterly fantastic. I have no hands-on experience with it. That's why I said looks, because I can't say feels. But a whole bunch of YouTubers and content creators and websites have been able to go hands-on at an event that was held in New York. And now we know a lot more information about Super Mario Maker 2 ahead of E3, where I assume the demo they played will probably be playable at E3. And my deal with this game has always been that I'm not into builder games, right? I'm not into Minecraft or, Dragon Quest Builders 1 or 2 coming out. I'm just not that into level creators and all that jazz. There's a level creator, or a stage creator anyways, in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that I haven't even attempted to make one stage in, because it just doesn't interest me to do that kind of thing. However, that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy aspects of the stuff. I love playing other people's creations. That's kind of where my joy from creations comes from, the people out there that really have the time, the dedication, and the creativity to make something amazing. And I enjoy playing those stages, levels, etc., whatever they happen to be. And that was really the appeal of the first Mario Maker to me. But there was another aspect of Mario Maker that really appealed to me, and this was some of the theming of those levels. There were tons and tons of Mario Maker stages and levels created based on the amiibo support. So for those who never played the original Mario Maker on Wii U or 3DS, you could essentially tap almost any amiibo. It wasn't every single one, but almost any amiibo in the NES-style visuals, and be able to basically create a sprite of that amiibo in the game, or a sprite of something from the game, from the franchise that amiibo represents in the game. And the idea is there would be a special type of mushroom that you could put inside a question block, and then when you hit it, you get that mushroom, and you could transform your character into that character. And because of that, you saw a lot of Zelda-themed levels, Samus-themed levels, Mega Man, all that great stuff, right? Like, there was just so many different themed, quote-unquote themed levels based around the idea of the amiibos. And it was one of the coolest features in the original Mario Maker. And yes, amiibos are still around today. Switch has full amiibo support. You can scan them right out of the box on the right Joy-Con. And the bottom line is that in general, amiibo support is fully there. Now, Nintendo has emphasized amiibos a little less than they used to. They still sell really well, but they just don't push them as hard as they once did. New amiibos are still coming out for many of the games out there. There's a whole bunch of ones that came out for Breath of the Wild. There's new Smash amiibos still to come. So new amiibos are still arriving, but according to GameXplain, who talked to an actual representative from Nintendo Treehouse, so not just a PR rep, an actual person who works at Nintendo of America, there will be no amiibo support in Super Mario Maker 2. Now, this is extremely disappointing to me personally, because it means the idea of those themed levels are probably less likely to occur when you can't become the characters from those games. And I don't really know why that was cut, because it was one of the quintessential features of the original Super Mario Maker. It's very strange to see Super Mario Maker 2 come along and just not have it, even if it's only available, again, in the NES mode. At least then, it was still an option, but they removed it. And there's no real explanation as to why. Nintendo, the Nintendo Treehouse employee simply stated, nope, it's not there. We don't have them this time around. And I wish we could understand the decision-making behind not having those different amiibo costumes in, but there's nothing we can really do about it. I just know personally, as someone who enjoyed playing other people's creations, and I'm a big Zelda fan, I love playing a lot of the Zelda-themed levels. It's kind of sad to see them take that out of what made the original Mario Maker a little bit more special than just being a Mario level creator. That being said, there's also another disappointing thing, and this actually comes from a new feature added to the game. So they've obviously put a big emphasis in Super Mario Maker on multiplayer, right? This is the first time you've been able to do multiplayer in Mario Maker. The last time Mario Maker was pretty much all single player. You could play other people's levels and all that stuff and stages, but you couldn't play it with friends and all that. Well, now you can play it with up to 4 friends. And there's actually an online mode with rankings. And, well, you figure having online gameplay and all this jazz that, hey, you and your friends can get together, make a stage or two, share it with each other, and then play, up to 4 player multiplayer online with your friends, right? Like you can with so many other games like Splatoon. But that's not the case, actually. In fact, you can only play online with random people. Nintendo did come out to explain this after Game Explain, and I think it was Nintendo World Report both broke out the news from their hands-on experience that you will only be able to play with randoms. But Nintendo has finally responded after all of the, I don't know if it's backlash, but complaints anyways about that. And they said, this is true. As the game is now, you cannot create friend lobbies online. You can play only online with randoms. You could still get friends together and play with local play, and you're free to play with your 4 players on one Nintendo Switch system. You can also still challenge your friends to your creations and take on their designs through course IDs and having them follow your maker profile. Now, this is something you could do on the original Mario Maker where you could follow maker profiles. And yeah, the local co-op is nice and all that, but if you can do it locally, why not online? And I guess the general excuse that Game Explain and Nintendo World Report were given from Nintendo Treehouse reps is it had to do with the fact that you're ranked. You know, because you can't just have a mode where you play with friends that isn't ranked, like they have in Splatoon. I honestly don't get it. Seriously, it just does not make any sense to me. Maybe you guys can make sense out of that whole, hubbubaloo, but I honestly think that that's kind of a cop-out excuse saying that, friends would have an advantage over randos. I'm like, sure, like they do in any other multiplayer game out there. I don't really know why that's a problem. But whatever. It is interesting because, Nintendo's official response says as of now, as the game is now, suggesting that maybe down the line they could release an update or a patch or, God forbid, they charge DLC prices to add that functionality in. Because it's weird that it exists locally in local play, but it doesn't exist online. It just doesn't make sense. Now, if they didn't have it in the entire game, you could be like, look, the developers weren't even thinking about that kind of thing. But they were, because it's there in offline mode, so why can't it be there in online mode? I don't know. It just seems dumb. So that being said, it doesn't mean that Super Mario Maker 2 is a bad game by any stretch. I know this is kind of a negative outlook on these two aspects of Mario Maker that, to me, kind of ruin a large part of the fun that Mario Maker could have. Super Mario Maker 2 especially. But you take away the amiibo support and the costumes. You add online play, but then you say you can't play with friends. So, I mean, it's almost. I mean, I don't know. I'd almost rather not have online play if I can't play with friends. I was looking forward to playing with our patrons and playing with Eric when he's not at my house, and I can't do any of that. It kind of sucks. Like, yeah, we can make stages for each other. We were able to do that before, so like that's not new. I'm just disappointed, to say the least, as someone who was actually starting to get pretty hyped for Super Mario Maker after the Super Mario Maker Direct, which was just utterly fantastic. Now, I had worried since then about the amiibo support because they didn't show it. They weren't really talking about it. There was people saying, they confirmed 2 weeks ago. No, they didn't confirm anything. They just didn't show it. They didn't talk about it. They didn't respond to anything that had to do with amiibo. So people weren't sure if that just meant it was overlooked and they'll show it off later, or if they just consider it a legacy feature and they don't think it needs to be talked about. Reality is, it's just not there. So I am not happy with these changes. I don't know if you're happy with them. That doesn't mean everything we're hearing about Super Mario Maker 2 out of these previews is bad, of course. There's been a lot of cool things. Like you don't have to unlock most of the stuff in the game anymore, which was kind of annoying in the first one where you had to unlock certain things you can build with. There's still some things apparently in the game you do have to unlock, but a majority of the tools will be available to you right away. There's things like Giga Bowser does some really cool stuff if you add wings to him. Flying in the background, and how like even if he jumps off a cliff, he doesn't really die. He keeps popping up and doing random things. It's really weird. The cars they added into the game apparently can break, which are really cool. So there's a lot of additional things we're hearing about Super Mario Maker 2 that just sound really great. And this by no means means if you're into builders, if you're into building Mario levels, that you should avoid Super Mario Maker 2. But it is a little disappointing that one of the key features added with the multiplayer and online play can't be done with friends. And it's also extremely disappointing that they eliminated one of the primary, I don't know, to me it felt primary anyway. It was one of the primary attractions of the first one, and that while it was a Mario Maker, it felt like you could make Metroid and Zelda levels within it, which you could still do the levels, but if you take away some of the immersion though when you don't have the costumes involved with those levels. And maybe I was gonna say maybe there's copyright issues for that, but Nintendo owns like almost every single character that they put in the game, so that wouldn't make any sense. So I'm just as baffled as you guys are. That being said, Super Mario Maker 2 still sounds like a really good game. Still looks like a really good game. The question is, are these couple flubs by Nintendo? I'm just going to call them flubs. You can disagree with that statement if you want. That's just my personal opinion. Are these enough that make you not want to buy Mario Maker 2? Or are these things you just don't care about and weren't looking forward to anyways and just kind of figured they wouldn't be there and you just like Mario Maker 2 the way that it is? I don't know, but I will give a link down to Game Explain's channel and maybe one other, maybe Nintendo Life or Switch Force or something. If you guys want to check out some additional hands-on coverage of Super Mario Maker 2 from this preview event, obviously my Super Mario Maker 2 hands-on stuff will begin at E3 during June, so stay tuned for that on like June 11th, 12th, 13th in that area. I'm not sure which day I'm playing it on, but you can stay tuned for my coverage of Super Mario Maker 2 then. Until then, this is some disappointing stuff, but also some exciting things today, too. You guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. I'm Nathaniel Revelchance from Nintendo Prime. I want to thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like this video, because if you don't like this video, we might have to get into a slapping contest, and let me tell you, I'm undefeated in the slapping contest. For those who don't know what a slapping contest is, look it up. It's not something you want to get into with me. That being said, subscribe for more content. And I don't know, I guess we have a giveaway going on. I guess you can go down to the description and check out that Gleam.io link. I mean, if you care. We're not giving the item away until we hit 50,000 subs, which I don't know when that's happening either. Maybe you do. Maybe you have a crystal ball and be like, Nate, you will hit 50,000 subscribers when you reach 2028. Oh, God, I really hope not. All right, thank you guys for tuning in.